In the oldest scriptures of the Pure Way, the Elurans are named only once. Not as children, not as people, but as a mistake. Before the Great Flood, before the rise of Kael Noir, the spirits walked openly among mankind. Some remained loyal to Eluran, the one high being. These were the Esai, the originless spirits who upheld the divine order and guarded the boundary between the mortal and spiritual realms. But others turned from that order. The Shorn descended into the world of flesh, and in time, they took human form. What began as curiosity became longing. What began as longing became union, and from those forbidden unions, the Elurans were born. The first Elurans were unlike ordinary mortals. They possessed unnatural beauty, impossible strength, and souls that resonated with spiritual power. Some could command flame, others shaped storms or bent steel with thought alone. To the Shorn, the Elurans were proof that spirit and flesh were never meant to remain apart. But to the Esai, they were blasphemy given form. For the existence of the Elurans threatened the order established by Eluran himself. Humanity was meant to ascend after death. Spirits were never meant to walk as men, and no soul was meant to belong to both worlds at once. So the heavens turned against them. War came first. The Esai descended upon the Shorn and their children with divine fury, seeking to erase every trace of the transgression. Entire bloodlines vanished, cities collapsed beneath spiritual fire, and still, the Elurans endured. Until the flood. The Pure Way teaches that the flood was divine judgment. But the forgotten records buried beneath Kael Noir tell another story. The flood was not water, it was power. A great surge of spiritual energy released from Eluran himself, an overwhelming tide that poured through the boundary between realms and swept across creation. The world could not withstand it. The spiritual and physical realms collided, souls ruptured. Entire civilizations disappeared beneath waves of divine force. And the Elurans suffered most of all. For their souls belonged to both worlds. Many perished. Many were torn apart spiritually. And from those deaths, something terrible emerged. Demons, powers, dominions. Beings born from the rupture left behind when an Eluran soul collapses between realms. Every demon in existence is the echo of an Eluran death. Yet even the flood failed to erase them entirely. Some of the Shorn survived, and so did some of their children. In the years that followed, a sanctuary was raised upon the scar left by the flood. A city of cathedrals, flooded crypts, iron gates, and black stone. Kael Noir. There, the Shorn walked beside mankind once more, and the Elurans were no longer hunted. They were revered. Within Kael Noir, Elurans became symbols of divine inheritance, living proof that the Shorn chose to share their power with humanity rather than rule above it. Great houses rose from their bloodlines, none more feared than House Morneau. But the Pure Way never forgot. To the Waybound, the Elurans remain a violation of divine order, children born from rebellion, proof that the boundary between spirit and mankind was broken long ago. Now the bells of Kael Noir ring once more. The Waybound gather beyond the city walls. And within House Morneau, something ancient has begun to awaken. Something tied to a truth older than the flood itself. A truth bound deep within the divide. And across the wards of Kael Noir, an old whisper rises once again. The flood comes again.